Hi guys, Michael Gove was interviewed by Sophie Rage on Sunday where he was asked about Brexit. But in typical Brexiteer style, he had to lie in order to get out of a fix. Gove was asked about the possible downsides of leaving the EU, and he either didn't understand the question or he didn't want to answer it and started talking about the fantasy benefits of Brexit. Oh, and by the way, the vaccine rollout, of course, refuses to be put out of its misery. Have a listen to this mess.
Yes.
You said this about Brexit. I was quite interested in this. You said, I asked myself all the time, was it the right thing to do? I still think that it was right, but that doesn't mean that a choice as momentous as this doesn't require you from time to time to think, what are the downsides? Has it turned out in the way you might have imagined? What lessons can you learn? And I'm actually very interested to know your answer to some of the questions you posed. What are the downsides, do you think?
Well, I think it's important to look at a big question like Brexit and to recognise that you can't make a snap judgment a few years later and say definitively that everything as a result of leaving the European Union has gone precisely in a perfect way. I think, on balance, Brexit has been a significant success for this country.
She asked you about the downsides. She didn't ask you about what went well. She asked you about what didn't go well. And notice he avoided the question here. He said, yeah, well, not everything was perfect. Not everything was perfect. A 4% drop in GDP I would describe as a bit more than not being perfect. The fact that businesses can't access the workers they need, the fact that businesses can't export like they could before, is a bit more than not perfect.
But I do acknowledge that there have been frictions. And my friend Steve Baker, for example, acknowledged that as we resolve the situation in Northern Ireland, that some of the things that have been said and done haven't necessarily been perfectly pitched. I think
perfectly pitched? You people were talking about how the Northern Ireland Protocol would destroy the Union. You people were talking about how the EU, maybe not Michael Gove directly, but members of his party and his supporters were talking about how the EU is a dictatorship, trying to steal Northern Ireland away from the Union.
I think that is an example of something that we need to address. But overall, I think we wouldn't have had the vaccine rollout that was so successful if we'd been within the European Union.
Now, this is where I find it extremely disappointing that Sophie Ridge didn't intervene here and say, oh, wait a minute, Michael, you're talking a big pile of crap. And it's not just me talking, again, explaining that Michael Gove is talking a big pile of crap. This is the head of the Medical Association in the United Kingdom back in 2020.
We have been able to authorise the supply of this vaccine using provisions under European law which exist until the 1st of January. So our speed or our progress has been totally dependent on the availability of data in our rolling review and the rigorous assessment and independent advice we have received. So I hope that clarifies the point about the European relationship.
It clarifies it with people who are not charlatans and crooks and liars.
And in an area for which I was previously responsible in the environment, we wouldn't have a better method of supporting farmers that strengthens the environment as well as enhancing food production if we were in the Common Agricultural Policy.
Okay, the Common Agricultural Policy. So it says here, this is according to the UK government's own website. Farm support in the United Kingdom is changing. This is from July 2022. Before the UK left the EU, farmers were supported by the Common Agricultural Policy CAP funds of £4.7 billion in 2019. Okay? £4.7 billion. That was what the UK was receiving from the European Union, and it was distributed to farmers. This is according to the UK government's own website. It says, DEFRA has said that it is maintaining total farm support in every nation of the United Kingdom with a cumulative £3.7 billion a year. And it is rolling out the ELM schemes to pay farmers and for delivering climate and environmental benefits while producing the nation's food. So, 4.7, 3.7. But Michael Gove is describing this as some sort of benefit. Okay, let's continue.
In my own area, there are opportunities now that the Prime Minister was exploring to change the way in which some of the big funds, the pension funds, invest, which will mean that more money can go into levelling up areas. Those are three big benefits of Brexit.
What is he talking? I don't even know how to respond to this because it doesn't make any sense. So there are pension funds that we couldn't use these pension funds in some way to level up in the past. Look, I've said before, the levelling up here is about funneling money into constituencies where there is a Tory MP who's struggling, or where they believe they can flip the seat from Labour to Tory. That's where this levelling up is going. It's not a true levelling up. It's about propping up the Conservative vote. And I've said before, money from the European Union is not about buying votes. It's about helping deprived areas. One of the most deprived areas in the United Kingdom, I think it's North Wales, or maybe it's South, I think, yes, North Wales. It received a huge amount of money from the European Union. That money is gone now. And unfortunately for that area, they voted for Brexit. They were convinced by charlatans and crooks and liars like Michael Gove. Just one final thing. Michael Gove said back in 2016, the day after we vote to leave, we hold all the cards and we can choose the path we want. And it says he didn't tweet it, he actually said it at the Vote Leave HQ. Yes, who holds all the cards now? Does the UK hold all the cards when it comes to exporting goods into the EU? No, it doesn't. Does the UK hold all the cards when it came to these trade deals with, for example, New Zealand or Australia? Of course they don't. The Australian farmers are happy. New Zealand farmers are happy. British farmers are not happy. I don't know what else to say. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.